So this is the Mark III Mondeo. It's a 2 litre petrol, but they're all very similar, so this will go with all. To get the bonnet up, we stick that key right in the front of the grille there, look. It's always a tricky one, catches me out every time. Today we've got the Golden Goddess in, we've got the Ford Mondeo. I'm going to change the front brake pads and discs, so let's crack on. There it is in all its glory, look, beautiful. 149,000 miles, not looking bad. Let's get down below, we'll get that pit jack running, get the car up in the air so we can take the wheels off, get to those brakes. Nearly there, look at him go. Pop the trim off the wheel and we'll whiz the wheel nuts off. These are all 19mm nuts on the wheels. Taz them off with a gun. Makes life a bit easier, doesn't it? Put this wheel out of the way and then we'll see what's going on with the brakes. Got your nice big vented discs on this one. These discs are a fair old size. They're a decent amount of metal on them. You know, you'd usually get about 15 to 20,000 miles out of a set of front brake pads. The discs will last considerably longer. This one actually failed its MOT. Well, it was an advisory, which when we actually look at these brake pads and discs, they're not that bad, but they did say it was a advisory, like I say, on the MOT, which a bit strange, but there you go. We're going to change them anyway, keep the guy at the MOT station happy. Using that ratchet there, we'll just whiz these 13mm nuts out the side of the caliper. They're on the caliper retaining brackets. Retraining brackets. What am I going on about? Grab hold of that caliper and just pull it to the side slightly, and it just makes that piston go back in enough to pull that away. You can either have it dangle in there or just tuck it up the top. I've shoved it up there just to take any stress off the brake hose, but they're fine, they can take that. Like I say, there's quite a bit of meat on those pads still, but we want to just keep that MOT station happy. We'll whiz those out. Now this is a 15mm nut holding that caliper retaining bracket on. Bit corroded, those nuts on the back there, so it's a bit sticky there when I'm trying to push it on. I'll get the gun on it again. You can just use a knuckle bar. These are generally quite tight. They're whacked on at a decent old tightness, so yeah, you can take a bit of getting off if you haven't got the gun. And I've decided now, look, I'm going to have to put it back in again because I've got the nut stuck in the socket because it's corroded. So I'll just whiz it back in, give it a wiggle and a tap and a bash and a... Don't you love it when this happens, eh? Can't get my socket off. Oh God, look. There we go, we'll put it back in again just to free it off and then take it out again. Come on. There we go. Now it'll be alright. There we go, and let's do the top one. I give this one a bit of a wiggle and a pull before I start. I'll try and get that, clean that corrosion off the socket. Just wiggle it on, get the corrosion off it before we even start. Come on, let's get it freed off a little bit. Yeah, go on, there you go. See all the muck come out of that then? Bingo, that should now come away and get it out. Yeah, look, there we go. That's better, that's better. Alright, time to get the disc off. Just check these sliders on that retaining bracket, make sure they're free and loose, that they're not binding. If they are stiff and tight, you can just literally pull them straight out on the rubber will become detached and you can grease them and put them back in again. Get the big hammer on the job, give it a bash, you can fix it. Couple of clouts and that's away, look. Beautiful. Like I say, these are big heavy discs, they're a good size. So we've got the new ones. Look at them beauties. Like I say, there's some meat on there. I'm going to give these a clean up before we start. We use a bit of brake cleaner or carb cleaner with a rag or a paper towel. I stick that bit of cardboard under there to save me floor getting chipped. But yeah, little spray, and then just a quick wipe round just to get that. It comes with like a grease on it. You can leave it in there if you really want to and just burn it off when you go down the road, but I find just a quick wipe round just to clean that layer of grease off there, it always helps out, saves getting any contamination on your pads. Do the same with the other one, at twice the speed. Well, look at him go, look. Oh dear. Same again, quick spray round, quick wipe. I'm really impressed with these discs, they look absolutely beautiful. Really do, nicely machined, very good quality. These come from Eurocar parts, and they were about 60 quid. I think that's what they were, so not a bad old price. Got some nice brake pads with plenty of meat on them. So here we go, make sure that's nice and clean, the face there. Give it a rub down with some emery cloth if you think it's contaminated. And then we'll slide the new discs on. Get them into place. Now if yours is the first time it's been changed, they sometimes have a little clip on one of the studs, a metal retaining clip. Just bash that off, you won't be able to use it again, just smash it out of the way. So let's get this back on again, 15 mils if you can locate them. Sometimes a little bit tricky just to get the first one in because it's all a bit floppy, the disc's moving a little bit around. But here we go, let's see if we can get these in. Just get them started by finger and then I'll get the bar or the gun on. Oh no, lot of mist, I've missed. Let's try again. Oh dear, happens to the best of us, look. Here we go. Yeah, that's better. Now we're started. We've got them both started. Whiz them up with a gun. Nice and tight. This gun's got preset torque settings on it, so you know you got it right. You know it's pretty good. I'll just turn it up a tad, just to make sure that they're up really good. Bang, bang. Beautiful. If we get it on, it's a bit tricky. There we go. Lovely, lovely. Okay, let's drop that caliper back down again. Move the torch in place. Oh no, look, I'm rushing ahead of myself. I'm going to clean these first. I'm going to clean these just to make sure there's a little bit of debris on there, a little bit of dirt. I'll just give them a quick clean with the screwdriver. Again, these are quite clean. They're not got a lot of crud and contamination on them. Just a small amount there. But yeah, that's plenty enough. Then we've got these pads. And you've got the old plates off the original brake pads there, so they want to go on the new pads. They're squealer plates. They'll just stop that squealing when you're braking. Sometimes they just sit on the back of the pad. Now I'll drop a little bit of grease. I've used copper slip or a bit of aluminium grease there, just behind that plate and on the top of it. And I usually put a bit on the ends just to there we go. Look, help it slide slightly. It all helps in the process of the stop things binding and squeaking. We'll slip those pads back in there into the retaining bracket on the caliper. Same with the other side. I'll just pop a bit on the end of that. Get that plate on nice and tight there. Just again, they've got little clips on the front and back, but it's the caliper that holds it all in place, so when the caliper's naturally on there, they do flop about a little bit. Same again, drop that squealer plate on the back of the, I'll get it the right way around, that's a good point. It will only go one way. and then we'll drop that back in again. This one's slightly tighter. You sometimes find that the pads that you buy, you know, a little bit more paint on one side than the other, just a small bit of debris in the way, but just give it a little tap with the back of the screwdriver there, and that goes in lovely. Nothing to worry about. See that little, how loose that squealer plate is on the end there. But so once the caliper's in position, it'll just hold it all in place. Right, we've got this caliper, and now I've got to squeeze the piston back. So we get my big grips on it, get the Stilsons in there, and slowly press that piston back up. Always check that your brake fluid reservoir has got a little bit of room in there to take this fluid as it comes back up. Squeeze that all the way back, right back to the maker's name, look. Get it all the way back in there. Slow pressure. And there we go, look, all the way in. Beautiful. Nice and free, that piston, so we've got nothing to worry about. Caliper's in good condition. And then we're going to slide this back over them pads, making sure those squealer plates don't fall out as we're putting it back on again. It's a bit tricky. So gently, just get that in place. It's a little bit tight, just fiddly, trying to hold everything in place while you get the caliper back over again. Here we go, we're getting there now. Look, push that little retainer in there, get it lined up, beautiful. Now I can drop those 13mm nuts back in. Nuts and bolts, look, I keep getting my nuts and bolts muddled up. These are bolts, not nuts. Then we'll whiz those back up again. Not got to go mega tight on these. They're not like them 15mm bolts where you have to bang them up tight. These ones, just give them a tweak. Make sure that, oh, there we go. Nice and tight, but not over tight. Straighten up the steering, then we can get the wheel back on again. Roll it on in. It's a wet old day today. Everything's dripping. Car's dripping, wheels are dripping. It's lashing it down outside. Thankfully we got the garage with the pit, which always helps out. Let's get them nuts back on again. Whiz these nuts up. Now I've got the gun set to 110 Newton meters on these, which is just about right. Beautiful. Get the cap. Now these wheel trims, you've got to have a good look at them because they will only go on one way. They've got a little notch in them for the valve cap, a little recess with a picture of a valve on it. So make sure that you just get that lined up with your valve on the wheel somewhere there, and ensuring all the little tabs are not bent over. You can just push that trim back on, give it a tap. Good as gold. Beautiful. So I'm going to do the same with the other side and then let it down. So there we have it. That's the brakes, brake pads, brake discs all changed up on that Mark III Ford Mondeo, and it's a bit of cracking motor, that really good. I mean, I've looked after it for a long while now, and it's not given us hardly any troubles at all. So yeah, if you've enjoyed that one and it's been of use, just drop me a thumbs up, like, subscribe. Thanks for watching.